What's up guys, it's Robin here, and this video is going to be my set 6 comps guide. I know a lot of people has been asking for this, so here it is. I've been playing PvE for like 12 hours a day, so I think I do have a basic understanding of like the different comps that you can play in this game right now. I will say that for set 6, because of augments, there are a ton of comps that you can play depending on the augments that you get. Like for instance, if you get like a reroll augment or an econ augment in stage 1, you're more likely to play a reroll comp in that case. Whereas if you just get like a generic augment, you probably just play like a traditional non-reroll comp. For this comps guide, I'm just going to be talking about the traditional non-reroll comps, mostly the 3 cost and 4 cost carry comps, because I feel like no matter what augment you get, you can play these comps. In this comps guide, you will not see like Yordle reroll, Veigar, you won't see like Trundle reroll, stuff like that. Because I feel like those comps benefit a lot if you get like a reroll augment or like an econ augment. So I'm not going to include that. Those are more like, this is going to be a more like generic comps guide for 3 cost and 4 cost carries. So I'm going to get right into it. But basically for this guide, I would say for this set, it's really flexible. Almost every single comp doesn't have like a set like 6 or 7 units. It's going to be mostly 1 to 2 carry units plus whatever frontline you can make plus utility. Okay, so as a TLDR, the front line for every comp is either going to be Braum and Leona, which is the bodyguard front line. It can either be Bruiser front line, which is Zac and Mundo, or it could be like a protector front line, which is Sion and Blitz. Or if you high roll a Jace at level 8, you can just use Jace as front line because he's really tanky. The utility units are going to be the same for every comp: Orianna, Janna, Taric, Seraphine, Yuumi, stuff like that. You can splash these units in every comp depending on what you hit, and then you round it out with your carries, which is, you know, either FIORA, YONE, JHIN, Lux, whatever. So I'm just gonna go through each comp right now and give you like a little general rundown. So the first comp I'm going to be talking about is the FIORA and YONE comp. So the core is going to be FIORA and YONE, and in the front line is going to be, as I talked about, either Braum, Leona, Jace, Zac, Mundo, or Sion, Blitz. Utility: Taric, Janna, Orianna, Yuumi, Seraphine. And then when to play this, if you have an early IE, AD attack speed items, or if you have a challenger opener. So let's get to the builder right here. Core units: FIORA, YONE. And then, as you can see from my imager here, I do have Braum and Jace as frontline. I'm playing Yuumi, I'm playing Janna, I'm playing Ori, I'm playing Yuumi. And this is gonna be my comp, right? So basically, the only core units in this comp is FIORA, YONE. Everything else is droppable. So you can, if let's say you don't hit Jason Yuumi, you want to play Leona with Braum, and then if you don't have Yuumi, you can, you know, let's say you can play Taric if the Socialite Hex is really good. Let's say you don't hit Taric and you hit Seraphine, you can play Seraphine instead. Let's say you don't hit the Braum and Leona, you can play Zac and Mundo. Even though the traits aren't really good, it's still frontline that you can get and maybe get a top 4 from it. Let's say you don't hit Zac and, like, let's say you play Zac and Mundo and then you want to get the 3 Chemtech, then now you want to play Lissandra even more, which gives you a Chemtech Scholar to round out your board. And then let's say you don't hit any of these and you roll down, you hit like a random Scion 2. You can definitely play the Scion 2 with like a protector, like a Blitz with it. And then this will be your board. Probably put one more unit here, right? So like maybe like a Yuumi or a Taric or a Seraphine or whatever, right? So as long as you have your core units and then your frontline and then utility, you should be set. Items on FIORA, I think IE is BIS, but she can hold any like AP items. I've gotten like AP FIORA, like Rabadons on FIORA before, and it felt pretty good. So like whatever AP items you can put on FIORA. YONE benefits from like almost every item. So, but I think BIS is probably going to be like Runons plus like a defensive item like GA or Titans or QSS. And then the last one could be a damage item like Hodge, IE, DB, GS, whatever. But honestly, YONE can use everything. He can even use tank items like Warmogs, Declaw, whatever. He can also, like, that's why he's really good at TG as well. You know, so YONE and FIORA are pretty flexible. This is one of the most like flexible comps you can play. I really like this comp right now because even if you have like really scuffed items, you can probably end up playing FIORA, YONE and just get a top 4. The next comp I'm going to talk about is JHIN carry. So again, JHIN carry, like literally I can just remove the core units, YONE and FIORA, and I'll just play JHIN. And then for JHIN, you want to play one sniper. I like Caitlyn the best, but you can play Kog'Maw and MF too. And then So JHIN, and then frontline, ideally, I think Braum and Leona is definitely the best. But, you know, as again, like, if you don't hit Braum and Leona, you can play SION, Blitz, or Zac Mundo. But this is the JHIN comp. Basically, you're just replacing the two carries, FIORA, YONE, and I replace it with JHIN, Caitlyn, right? And then, again, you know, if you hit the Yuumi, you can play Yuumi. If you hit the Seraphine, you can play Seraphine instead of Taric. You can also play Taric and Seraphine if you want to benefit from the 2 Socialite buff. And then when you want to play this comp is usually when you have heavy AD items. So BIS JHIN, I think it's gonna be like IE, Last Whisper, Giant Slayer. But like any AD item would work. Like Deathblade is also really good. Runons is okay. I don't think attack speed is that good on JHIN. So if you have like Ginsu's Runons, I probably wouldn't play JHIN. I'll probably play Yone. But if you have heavy AD items, I would lean towards JHIN. If you ever have a sniper opener, you can look to play JHIN. The next comp is the Lux carry comp. So again, we just take out the carries, and then we play the new carry. So Lux plus an Arcanist. The best Arcanist is going to be Victor. But let's say you don't hit Victor, you can play any other Arcanist. You know, Malzahar is probably the second best. You can play Vex, Swain, whatever. It's just to buff your whole team, right? And then this is the Lux comp, right? Take out the front line for another front line. You can take out the utility for other utilities, you know, like Terrican instead of Seraphine. Over here, you are playing, if you play Braum, Leona, and Yuumi, and Lux, you will have 3 Academy, but that's totally fine. These are just like really strong units. You can even take out like Taric here and play 4 Academy, maybe with Yone. I will say another thing about Lux though is that your game plan can change depending on how many Arcanist spats you have on your depending on what augments you got. So let's say you got like 1 or 2 Arcanist spats, your whole team can change. Like you can play, instead of 2 Arcanists, you can play 4 or 6 Arcanists. So something like, and you can just drop the body. If you have more Arcanist spats, you can drop the bodyguards, and you can just resort to playing Vex solo frontline, something like this. And now that you have Vex solo frontline, you're allowed to play more Arcanists, such as Swain, Ziggs, and like Victor, right? And no Ziggs, like probably Ziggs over Swain. Yeah, so if you have an Arcanist spat like here, then you would have 6 Arcanists. This is the 6 Arcanist version with Vex solo frontline. I do like playing Ziggs over any other Arcanists because you get scrap shield value from it. So Ziggs is probably better than Swain, and it's probably better than it's definitely better than TF. So this is like another variation of Arcanist that you can play besides the traditional one, depending on how many Arcanist spats you have. Let's say you have 2 Arcanist spats, you know, you can take out the Ziggs and play another utility unit or another frontline unit. BIS Lux, I think BIS Lux is definitely going to be JG, IE, and like Hodge. It's definitely JG, IE +1, but I would not, I don't really like putting mana items on Lux. They are pretty good still, like Shojin and Blue Buff, they are still good, but I think 3 damage item Lux is best because you can just keep resetting on people and just kill everyone. This comp especially shines if the Socialite Hex is in the back row, because if you put the Socialite Hex on Lux, it'll do even more damage. So when to play this comp, if you ever have like an Arcanist opener, or if you have like AP items, you can look to play Lux or Victor carry. Oh yeah, if you happen to have a Shojin, you can even, if you hit Victor before Lux, you can transfer the items to Victor and just carry Victor instead. Victor definitely wants Shojin and like 2 AP items, so like IE, JG, Rabadons, whatever, and then you can just carry a Victor 1. It is strong enough right now. Sometimes Victor 1 can do more damage than Lux 2 even. So keep that in mind when you're playing Arcanists. Next comp I'm going to talk about is a SION carry comp. This comp is a little bit more like not flexible and has the same core units, so it'll be a little bit easier to play. The units are going to be SION, and you're going to want to play 3 Socialite to buff SION. So it's going to be Taric, Seraphine, and you're going to have to hit Galio, which is the tricky part in this comp. And then you also want to play 3 Imperials. So the 3 Imperials you want to play, I don't think it matters what you play, but I think maybe Talon and Swain is probably the best. I think Talon is a little bit better than Samira. And then literally this is your comp. This is your comp. You're literally just like trying to over buff SION, and then SION just one-shots everyone and like life steals it back with 3 Socialite. BIS is going to be JG, IE +1. I've tried different variations. Some people like Hodge, but I feel like if you have 3 Socialite healing, you don't really need Hodge. I think more defensive is good to help him stay alive. Like Bramble's good, and you know, Titans is good. Warmogs, whatever. When to play this comp? If you ever have like an IE JG build early game, or if you have if you're playing around protectors early game, like if you're playing around like Kassadin or Garen, and then you happen to hit an early Scion, you can look to play this comp if you have the Scion items. Next comp is URGOT carry. So URGOT carry, going back to the traditional comps, URGOT is a little bit less flexible just because he has the Chemtech tag. So you want to play URGOT, and since you're playing URGOT, you want to play Mundo and Zac to round out the Chemtech. So this is going to be your core units, URGOT, Mundo, and Zac for 3 Chemtech, and then the other units are like literally just like utility, 5 Chemtech, whatever. In my comms guide, I included 5 Chemtech, so we're going to play Victor plus Lissandra, and then we're going to play Jinx for Twin Shot, and then we are going to play utility units, Janna plus Ori. So this is a sample URGOT carry comp. You can easily just drop Lissandra and Victor down to 3 Chemtech, and then play more utility units such as Socialite, Seraphine, Yuumi, Taric. I personally would not play Twin Shot if you don't have Jinx. So I would not play Graves or like Kog'Maw here because I feel like they're not that strong. But sometimes if you have like a Kog'Maw 2, you're going to play it, right? So in this comp, you don't have to play Zac and Mundo, even though it makes your comp really strong. Like let's say like you roll down and you don't hit Mundo and Zac, you hit like a Braum 2, right? Like you can totally play Braum 2 plus Leona with URGOT. It's not a big deal. If you really want Chemtech, you can just fit in Chemtech with Victor and Lissandra. And even without 3 Chemtech, like I think URGOT still works. You could probably get a top 4, but it's not as strong as the other version. BIS URGOT, I think you really want Runons for sure. And you want an AD item like Deathblade because they nerfed his base AD. And then the last item, probably like a tank item, GA, Titans, or BT are all very good. And then you just stack your tank items on whatever front you end up playing. A lot of times in this comp, if you're super high rolling, you can go level 9 and then you can sell URGOT and transfer the items to Jinx and play a Jinx carry comp. All right, the next comp I'm going to be talking about is Innovator Flex. So basically this comp, you're playing around the Innovators and then you're just adding in the whatever carries you hit or whatever, depending on what items you have, right? So this is the Orianna version. So the core is going to be Jace. It's going to be 5 Innovators, which is going to be Jace as your frontline, Seraphine, Heimer, Ezreal, and Zilean. These are 5 Innovators that you want to play. Zilean is good because it gives clockwork if you're going to play Orianna or Jhin carry. Seraphine is good for Socialite. Heimer is good because he has Scholar. So if you play Janna, you get the Scrap and Scholar with Ezreal and Heimer. And you just play whatever carry, depending on what items you get. So this picture is Orianna carry. Well, I'll just show you on the builder. So Innovator Flex. Jace, frontline, plus Seraphine, plus Ezreal, plus Zilean, plus Heimer. So this is going to be your 5 Innovator. And then I like to play Janna for the Scrap and Scholar. And then the other 2 spots, just whatever carries you you want to play, right? Depending on your items. So the first one is the Orianna carry, which is right here. You play Orianna and maybe like a Taric for more Enchanter and a Socialite Hex. And then I play Orianna if I have like Shojin and AP items. Then I'll play Orianna. You can, let's say you have attack speed items and you want to play Yone, then you just drop Orianna and Taric and you play Yone and FIORA. Something like this. And you just stack Yone. Let's say you have like 80 items. You drop FIORA and Yone and you play JHIN plus Caitlyn. And you get Enforcer Sniper, which is pretty good. Let's say you have AP items. And let's say you have blue buff. Then you play Lux plus like Victor for Arcanists. So that's how you play like if you have an Innovator opener and you're kind of getting dizzy, you don't know what to play, then you can play like one of these comps. You can stick with all the upgraded Innovators you have and then just add in your carries. I will say that in this comp, you absolutely need to hit Jace because Jace is going to be your frontline unit. If you don't hit Jace, you cannot play this comp because you don't have a frontliner for Innovators. If you don't have Jace, you probably have to drop to 3 Innovators or even just pivot out of Innovators altogether. Also, this comp becomes way better if you have an Innovator spat. If you have an Innovator spat, it allows you to drop this really bad Ezreal and play another supporting utility or frontline unit. Next, I think that's all it for the 4-cost carries. The next comps I'm going to be talking about is like the 3-cost carries. You are like sometimes going to be re-rolling for the 3-cost versions of these comps, but you can totally top 4 with just the 2-star variations. The first comp is Lissandra reroll. Lissandra reroll, I would say, is very, very similar to the URGOT comp, except you're carrying Lissandra instead. The comp is going to be Mundo, Zac, Lissandra. This is going to be your core units. And then usually you want to play 5 Chemtech, so it's going to be Victor plus URGOT. You know, if you don't hit Victor, you can just play like a Warwick in the meantime. If you don't have URGOT, you know, you can play Singed in the meantime, just before you hit like the better Chemtechs. You know, utility units as always. So Janna, Ori, and then you just go from there. BIS Lissandra, I think it's you definitely want Archangels because these fights last very, very long because of how Lissandra works and how Chemtech works. So Archangel will get a lot of value. You also want Gunblade because you want Lissandra to... When Lissandra's low HP, she ults herself and then she can heal back up, which is really, really good. And then you want GA as like a defensive item. You can also drop GA for like more AP, like Rabadon's, JG, stuff like that. Morello is also very good on Lissandra. For this comp, you basically want to reroll at level 8 if you can, but sometimes if you're behind on tempo, you probably have to reroll at 7. But 8 is way better because you have more chances to hit the Mundo, the Orianna, the Janna, the Victor, the Yumis, stuff like that. When to play this comp. So if you have a Chemtech opener and you have AP items and you get like an early Lissandra, you can look to play this comp. Next one is Mutant Malzahar. So Mutant Malzahar is more, it's a more or less flexible comp. It includes the same units almost every game. So Malzahar, Cho'Gath, Kog'Maw, Kai'Sa, and then Mundo. So you're going to be playing the 5 mutants. Before you hit Kai'Sa, you were probably playing Kassadin. So it's probably something like this. And then the rest of the units are very flex. You can play an Arcanist for Malzahar. You can play Victor plus Zac for Chemtech. You can play, you know, utility units such as Ori, Janna, Yuumi, whatever. But the core units is going to be 5 mutants. BIS Malzahar is going to be Gunblade for sure. And then the next 2 items are pretty flex. I like JG for more damage. And then, you know, blue buff for more cast time. You can do GS for more damage, IE, stuff like that. But I think the core unit is Gunblade because you want to stall for this comp. So when to play this comp? If you have an early Cho'Gath or an early Malzahar and you have AP items and the mutant trait is good, then you want to play this comp. For the mutant traits that are good, I think the good ones are like Void, Darkstar, the lower mana one, and Elderwood are all good. I think the bad ones are Cybernetic and Blade Master. The next comp is going to be Syndicate SHACO. For this comp, it's also going to be less flexible. You're going to be playing 5 Syndicates. So it's going to be Braum, Darius, SHACO, Akali, and Zyra. So this is going to be your core units. And then you round out these units by playing utility units, 4 Syns. So I have in this, I play Orianna. I'm going to be playing a Yuumi, Orianna, like Janna, Orianna. You can take out the Janna and play Taric. The Socialite Hex. Socialite Hex is really, really good in Syn comp because it doesn't matter where the Hex is. You can probably just put your Syn there. For this comp, having a Syndicate spat really helps you a lot because it allows you to drop Darius. It also allows you to play 5 Syndicate without playing TF and before you find Akali. A lot of times you won't find Akali this early. So you're going to be playing 4 Syndicate. You're probably going to be playing TF just for 5 Syndicate. But sometimes it's not worth playing this TF just for 5 Syndicate. So you can just drop down to 3 by like not even playing Zyra and just playing this. And then a lot of mid game, you're going to be playing like 4 Syns. So you're going to have Talon and like Cat. Something like that. And Echo. Something like this. You probably, like, most games, you're going to be playing like 4 Syns plus whatever. 4 Syns, 3 Syndicate until you find Akali. Then you can easily fit in 5 Syndicate. For this comp, when to play this comp, if you have like AD items or like if you have a Syn opener, I would look to play this Syndicate SHACO comp. And the strategy for this comp is you're going to be slow rolling SHACO a 3 at level 8. So you really want to go level 8 because you really want to hit Akali. Because Akali spikes this comp super hard since she's also a Syndicate assassin. And that's it for my set 6 comps guide. TLDR, frontline, carries, utility. Frontline is Braum, Leona, Jace, Zac, Mundo, Sion, Blitz. Carries are either going to be FIORA, YONE, JHIN, Ori, Lux, Sion, URGOT, whatever forecast. And the utility is always going to be Taric, Seraphine, Janna, Yuumi, Orianna. There are a lot more comps like Yordle reroll, Trundle reroll, a lot more reroll comps that are in the comp that you can play, but those require you to get reroll augments such as Trade Sector or like Tactical Loss, Tactical Losing for more econ, stuff like that. So I didn't include those. And that's it for my Sec 6 comps guide. I hope you guys learned something, and I hope this will help prepare you for the launch on Wednesday. And I'll see you guys next time.